Hey guys, this is Comics by Volume, and I'm Davin, and welcome to Free Talk Fridays. Today I'm gonna be talking about something that's a little bittersweet. If you look to the left of me, you will see this big stack of comic books that I will be getting rid of very soon. These are all comics that, for the most part, I really enjoyed, and some of them not so much. But the reason I'm getting rid of them is so that I can upgrade them in the future to either hardcovers or color editions, that sort of thing. So today I'm going to basically just go over all the books I'm getting rid of and what they mean to me. So starting off with the smallest at the top, we have Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim and Lost at Sea. Now, Scott Pilgrim is one of my absolute favorite series. And it was my favorite series in high school. And for the longest time, I've wanted to get the hardcover color editions. They're a little larger than these. Most of these are actually, let me get one of the first volumes, so no spoils if you haven't read Scott Pilgrim for any reason. But Scott Pilgrim is all in black and white, or at least it was in the beginning. And they released these larger color editions that are just awesome. And as you can see by the covers, color adds so much to the series. And I'm finally gonna get rid of these so I can get those. Let me just put these to the side here. Anyways, Scott Pilgrim's awesome, and you should read it. And then we have Lost at Sea, also by Brian Lee O'Malley. This one is kind of a self-contained story about growing up, basically. It's about this girl named Raleigh, and she does not have a soul. And it's kind of like a road trip, college-aged tale, and part of me actually likes this more than Scott Pilgrim, for whatever reason. I believe it came out before Scott Pilgrim, because the art style is not quite as refined. But this one also has a hardcover edition, and I really like this book, so I'm going to try to get that when I can. Lost at Sea. Then we have a book that I got for free from a friend because he got it in one of the loot crates. I think it was Loot Anime. And that's Clockwork Planet. Don't read this. It's not worth it. It's I think it's based off of a light novel by the same guy that did No Game No Life, which I actually really enjoyed the anime to that. So I thought that maybe I'd like this, but it's garbage. Don't read it. Just don't. And now another one of my favorite series that I would like to get in color. Bone. This is one of the greatest series that I've ever read. It's about these three cartoony brothers named Phone Bone, Smiley Bone, and Phony Bone. And they get chased out of their town because of one of Phony Bone's schemes that went wrong. And they end up in this valley that is very different stylistically than the rest of them. It's kind of like a fantasy epic. As you can see, it's fucking enormous. And yeah, when it came out, it was all in black and white. And then around when I was, let's see, I think it must have been like 2003, 2004, Scholastic started releasing these, you can see the cat in the background. That's Kimchi. And she is an asshole. Anyways, Scholastic started releasing these color editions. And that's how I originally started reading the series, was in color, and then going back to black and white so that I could get the full story for cheaper. It kind of lost something for me. It's still amazing, but it's just so much better in color. So I'm going to get rid of that and hopefully get the color version, which is also hardcover and comes with like a slipcase and stuff. I am running out of room for these. Anyways, so next up we have some Image paperbacks. All these are series that I enjoyed except for one of them. So let's start out. I have the first 3 paperbacks of Sex Criminals, which, despite its name, is one of the better Image series that I've read. It's goddamn hilarious. Definitely not safe for work, not safe for kids, because it's 100% about sex. And it's it's about this couple who, every time they have sex, they stop time and they rob banks. That's pretty much it. And it is one of the funniest comics that I've ever read, by Matt Fraction and Chip Starsky. I think that's how it's pronounced, Starsky. Matt Fraction's done a bunch of great comics like Hawkeye, which you're going to see in a minute. I think he had a Fantastic Four run I haven't read yet, and then Chip Starsky has done... He's doing the new Spectacular Spider-Man comic, which I'm really looking forward to. And I think Howard the Duck and a couple other things. He worked on Jughead for a while. But this series is freaking awesome, and I'm going to try to get the hardcover for it. I know the first one is already out, called Big Hard Sex Criminals, and it contains these 2. And with volume 4 of the paperbacks coming out soon, I'm assuming that the second hardcover is not far behind, so I'm going to try to switch over. Since it is one of my favorite series, and the art will definitely benefit from being in a larger format, because Chip Starsky is talented as hell. Next up we have Rat Queens, Volume 1. I picked this up for cheap at Second and Charles, used, and while the art is pretty great for the most part, I just never had the motivation to actually read it for whatever reason. I don't know. I have it digital, so maybe I'll read it through that at some point. But yeah, I might get the hardcover in the future, I don't know. For now, I'm just getting rid of it. Next up, we have another series I haven't read, but I also have digital, and the reason I'm getting rid of this one, Descender by Jeff Lemire, is because the deluxe got announced like right when I bought this. So I'm gonna ditch this, get the deluxe. Flipping through it, the art is outstanding. Drawn by Justin... I'm not going to try to pronounce this because I'm bad at that. But Jeff Lemire is one of my favorite writers. He wrote Sweet Tooth, which is among my top favorite series of all time. And Descender, I read the first issue a while back, and it's really promising, so I can't wait to read the deluxe when that comes out. Next up, we have another series that I love. I actually did read this one for once. This is Black Science Volume 1 by Rick Remender, drawn by Matteo Scalera, and holy shit, the art in this is some of the best. It's got a really... also the coloring is really good too. But I read Volume 1, really enjoyed it. And then the second deluxe got announced. Now, I know the first deluxe had an issue with glued binding versus sewn. Like the first time they printed it, they had some printing errors. So they reprinted it as glued, and that was kind of turning me off from it. But then the second one got announced, and it's also glued, which really sucks, but I really enjoy the series, and I want to get it in the largest format possible because the art is just amazing. So I'll have to deal with glued binding, which kind of sucks. Next book we have is a book that I got when I was in high school and didn't really read very many comics. It's Ratchet and Clank from DC Comics. This just wasn't good. I didn't enjoy this. The art is kind of mediocre. If they kept the same artist as they had for the cover, it would have been awesome. But as it stands, the art just isn't that great. I mean, it's passable, but it just didn't do anything for me. And the story isn't all that interesting either. So I'm just getting rid of that. It's not that good. Next we have is Watchmen by Alan Moore. And everyone knows what Watchmen is. I love Watchmen. I've read this so many times. You can see it's like, I got this when I was in like a sophomore year of high school. You can see it's kind of yellow. But basically I'm just trying to upgrade this either to the deluxe or the absolute when I can. So I'm getting rid of this for now. You don't need me to talk about Watchmen. Everyone's talked about Watchmen. And next we have Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, and The Dark Knight Strikes Again by Frank Miller. These are classics. Well, Dark Knight Returns is. Strikes Again, a lot of people have issues with. I didn't like it that much either. I don't even remember most of it. But basically there's a deluxe out that has both of these inside of it. So I'm going to try to upgrade to that when I can. Then we have Batman Hush, which has incredible art by the very talented Jim Lee. The story wasn't really anything to write home about, but it's getting a deluxe later this year, so if I ever want to reread it, that's how I'll do it. For now, I'm not really interested in rereading it, so I'm going to get rid of it. And just because I'm getting rid of basically all of my Batman paperbacks, I'm also ditching The Long Halloween and Dark Victory by Jeff Loeb, drawn by Tim Sale. And these were actually really, really good. These might be, next to Year One, these might be my favorite Batman books. The art is just good stuff. I know there's absolutes for these, but I don't even have one absolute yet, and they're hella expensive, so I might not ever get any. So hopefully they release some deluxe editions of these in the future. And that's probably how I would reread these. Great stories, though. Really good. Alright, this stack is getting a little topsy-turvy over here. That's fine. Alright, Batman Year One is another Batman book by Frank Miller. I think it's the better Batman book by Frank Miller. Dark Knight Returns didn't really do much for me, but this one is drawn by the very talented David Mazzucchelli. There? Mazzucchelli? I don't know. But, super great story, great artwork, and it's getting a deluxe this year, so that's how I'm going to do that. Alright, now we get into the hardcover stuff. We have Punisher Born by Garth Ennis. This was part of his Max run. I believe it was the, it's kind of like an origin story, like Punisher Year One, of his time spent in the war. And I found it for like $10, oversized, hardcover at 2nd and Charles. But it didn't have the dust jacket, and I thought that I would go the hardcover route with Punisher Max, but it turns out that that would be an immense pain in the ass, and I'm already trying to get the oversized hardcovers for the Ultimate Spider-Man series, so I don't want to add more to that. I'm probably just going to ditch this and get the Ultimate Collections, or Complete Collections of Punisher Max, which contain this as well. I'm just going to start piling these here. Next up, we have some Marvel Now oversized hardcovers. These are all great. These are all fantastic stories, but basically I just want to get the omnibus when they come out. We have Thor: God of Thunder, written by Jason Aaron and drawn by, I believe it's Asad Ribic. This one has absolutely fantastic artwork. I've been saying that a lot, but this one really, really does have some great artwork on it. Wish I can get this a little easier here. But I'm not really interested in Thor, but the few issues of this that I've read were really, really awesome. So that might change, but really I want to wait until Jason Aaron has an omnibus out so that I can get, I'm assuming that it'll have probably Original Sin inside of it and all the relevant issues and whatnot. So I'm hoping to go that route if they ever do decide to do that. They've done it with pretty much every other Marvel Now series, so I'm assuming that Jason Aaron will get some omnis in the future. Next up we have the Miss Marvel hardcovers. Basically I just want to upgrade these to the omnibus. But Miss Marvel is freaking awesome. It's one of the better takes on a teenage superhero. And it also deals with, of course, the religious aspect of being a Muslim in modern America and in the Marvel Universe. But it's done really tastefully, and the talent on this comic is absurd. They have G. Willow Wilson, who writes it, and Adrian Alfona, who has this really distinct art style that I really, really like. Hear my cat meowing in the background. I think there's birds outside. Anyways, next up we have another comic by Matt Fraction, which is Hawkeye. And his Hawkeye run is fucking awesome. It's drawn partly by David Aja, and his issues are amazing. The other artists do a pretty good job too, but David Aja's work is just some of the best. He also does, I believe he did Daredevil with Mark Waid. But the oversized hardcovers have kind of an issue with the issue ordering. Like some issues are out of order, and I hear the omnibus fixes that, so I'm going to try to get that when I can. I know I just kind of missed the big liquidation sale. I saw the omnibus for like $25 places, but hopefully I can get it for cheap in the future. But for now, I'm just going to get rid of it. I've already read all these, and while I enjoy them, I just want the omnibus, because I'm picky. So that just about does it for all the books I'm trying to get rid of. Hopefully I'll have some haul videos in the future, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.